Alright, class, so last time we met we were discussing the early ancient empires, the empires of the late Bronze Age and early Iron Age. Now we're going to begin our discussions of the later empires of the ancient period, that is to say, the empires of the classical, Hellenistic, and Roman periods. So let us first begin with one of the most potent of the classical empires, Athens, the democratic empire. So, Athens, as many of you may be aware from other ancient history courses, was a Greek city-state. It was one of the first to experiment with a popular vote model of organization as a city-state, and it was very wealthy for large amounts of its history. Now, Athens achieved its power very uniquely, unlike most of the empires we've discussed previously, which have been predominantly land-based. Most of their weapons being chariots and infantry, the Athenians conquered most of their territory by way of naval supremacy. The Athenians built up a very large fleet and used that fleet to dominate much of the Aegean Sea. What also makes this interesting is that Athens' territories were not generally connected over land, but by water routes. For example, Athens controlled much of Ionia, the area on the that region on what's today Turkey. That was then Greek city-states was largely controlled by Athens, despite it being miles away from mainland Greece. So how did Athens rise to power? The Athenian rise to power begins at the Battle of Marathon. So, during the Greco-Persian Wars, the Athenians fought and successfully warded off an incoming invasion of the Persians at the Battle of Marathon. After this battle was one of the most unique victories in Greek history, and that victory made Athens something of a superstar among the other Greek city-states. And so it began to position itself as the defender of the Greeks. Oh, we're Athens, we conquered the people, we conquered the Persians, we beat them, we're going to protect the rest of you. And they used that pretense to get a lot of money from the Delian League, which was this general pan-Hellenic, this league of Greek city-states that all united together for common defense. And they used the money from the Delian League to help them build walls for themselves, to help them rebuild their city, and even to build a massive navy. And that naval supremacy was something that was very important to them in conquering much of Ionia and these other Greek city-states. They were already sort of looking to Athens for protection anyway. And in this way, Athens became the first democratic polity to establish an imperial foothold. Now, this wasn't a very large empire, but the fact that it existed, and as one of the few Greek city-states to do this, especially with a direct democracy, is frankly remarkable. Unfortunately, all was not to last. The Peloponnesian War ultimately spelled the end of the Athenian Empire. As Athens' influence grew stronger, it so began to increase its competition with Sparta and Thebes and other more powerful members in the Delian League. This eventually led to an alliance between Thebes and Sparta, which launched into a war against Athens. The Peloponnesian War would last several decades and would virtually destroy much of the Greek way of life. At the end of the war, Athens will have been severely racked by plague, their democracy is in shambles, and their military might has ceased. Ultimately, this is the end of Athens as an empire. Although it will remain an important city in the ancient world, Athens never really again rises to the sort of political might it enjoyed at this period. But it does set the stage for one of the next empires we'll be talking about.